Resident Evil tier list. I have platinumed every single one of these games, 100% platinum, whatever. And just so y'all know, these are facts, not opinions. Argue with the wall. But seriously though, I really do enjoy all of these games. All of these games aren't necessarily bad games. There's a lot of reasons why I enjoy one. There's maybe a bad reason why I don't enjoy one. Hold on, that just reminded me. I enjoy all these games. All these games, to some capacity, are good. And I don't really hate any of these games that I'm even looking at right now. You know what, that might change while I'm talking about it. But another thing to just think about, what makes a good Resident Evil game? In my honest opinion, there are many factors that make a great Resident Evil. Good characters, good writing, a consistent tone, a good mix between action and horror. And I think that's about it, honestly, because although each game is quote unquote a horror game, each game has some form of action in it. But here we go. Okay, so right before the video starts, I would like to say thank you guys so much for the amount of views, love, subscribers, everything. The amount of traction that my big Resident Evil video got. I would like to clear up a few things because people were confused on what I meant by every Resident Evil, even though I didn't even do Resident Evil 0 in that video. And it's because I soft locked myself out of the game, so I'm gonna have to restart from the very start of the game. It's a long story. You will see when the video comes out. But I plan to do every single Resident Evil. I am doing a definitive video for that, and it's probably gonna be longer, so if you like long form content, then that's definitely gonna be the video for you. And I appreciate the love and attraction it's getting. I want to thank you guys so much, and we're about to hit 900 subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, with that being said, let's get back into the video. Resident Evil Remastered. So I got a lot of comments on my last video asking me what my favorite Resident Evil was, which I appreciate. Love y'all. Favorite Resident Evil? Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil Remastered isn't just a great Resident Evil title, but an absolute piece of horror media in general. The plot is very simple in my opinion. Just try to escape while everything wants to kill you, but the more you investigate, the higher the stakes get raised. From a regular zombie to a mutated shark, spider, snake, you name it, man. And I mean, this game is scary as fuck, but not in a current day way, you know? Which honestly is perfect because the tank controls also help create the scares, which is a very common theme throughout all of these games, or all the games that have tank controls, of course. The amount of times a camera angle would switch on me and I would run around in a circle helplessly while a zombie approaches me, man, just made this game super memorable and super scary because it comes down to a bit of a skill issue in my opinion, which it's a learning curve, and I appreciate that, especially in a horror game, you know what I mean? But honestly, who can forget the plot twist with Albert Wesker? Although the plot twist felt a bit predictable, especially when he reappears, but the twist of Barry working with him honestly shocked me. Also, another thing, Lisa Trevor, this is a remastered game. This is a remastered game, and they added to the original source, which is something you don't see. You don't see that nowadays, you know? It felt like they remade the game that they wanted in the first place, which is and it was so well done. Crimson Heads, dude, Crimson Heads are scary as fuck, and I'm happy they brought that back, Blister Heads in Resident Evil 9. Lisa Trevor, great. The first stalker enemy, a pretty decent stalker enemy in my opinion. Because genuinely, when she first appears, it's who the fuck is this? Okay, there's no anticipation, there's no hype built up to it. It just happens, you know. And the randomness of it is scary. So Resident Evil Remastered, I give it a 10 out of 10 to a 9.5 out of 10.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Resident Evil 2 Remake. Now, Resident Evil 2 Remake completely revamps the second story in a modern lens, and it's really well made. It's very well made. The RPD is so iconic, it offers a lot of what the remaster had, but the twist here is Mr. X. Although Lisa Trevor was a stalker enemy, it honestly is nothing compared to the Tyrant. The Tyrant genuinely chases you the entire game, which in the original, he would only chase you in the RPD, I believe, but Mr. X is here until the end, and it is scary as fuck, bruh. But Resident Evil 2 is a great game. Leon's playthrough was fantastic, with character reworks that work with the character all the way until future titles, which I think is very important. It's very consistent and very good. But to be honest, this game does have a content problem. They don't have the A-B scenario or the B-A scenario mechanic down at all, which is fine in my opinion, but would have made replaying the game more exciting, and would have also showed characters like Ada and Sherry interact when they aren't even in the same room in the remake. Also, Claire's B scenario is kind of boring in my opinion, and Capcom were considering cutting it out of the remake, which would have been just terrible for the game. But I can't help but feel like there could have been more that came from her scenario. But Chief Irons was rewritten for the better in my opinion, but that's kind of it. Also, the fourth survivor was a great time. I had a great time. I really did enjoy it, to be honest. B tier. I'm gonna give it B tier. I give it a 8 out of 10.
Tell them to bring me my money.
All right. Resident Evil 3 Remake. It exists. All right, Resident Evil 3 Remake is a mess. This game has some good moments like the Resident Evil 2 connections. Carlos is a great character in this game. I think he's leagues better than his original. I loved him every time he was on screen. Every single time he was on screen. The dialogue is leagues better as well. The hook is quick and intriguing, which has its pros and cons, honestly, because it felt like Nemesis was just playing with his food, and which was really infuriating to see. I mean, it's bullshit. It's really bad. It's not that good. But like I said, it is intriguing though. So, and Inferno difficulty is intense fun. It's very intense and very fun, and it goes off the rails sometimes, which is something a stalker enemy like Nemesis needs, but you don't get that in this game at all, by the way. Now, this game is like obviously super rushed, and it could have been a home run in my honest opinion, because it's literally just what happened at RPD on a bigger scale. And truthfully, I don't feel a difference in scale at all. The city sections are honestly terrible. It's too small to be called a damn city. And the tasks to explore and stuff feel a bit vanilla and mundane in this game.
But Nemesis makes it interesting.
Yeah, for like an hour, which is half of the game's runtime, by the way. Nemesis is scary when you don't have guns, but when you get guns, it isn't scary. It isn't even scary. That's why I like Inferno difficulty, because it's harder, and when it's harder, it's scarier. And you know, off the rails. Oh, and every time he appears, it's literally just staged. It's just staged, completely taken away from the randomness that the Tyrant had, which also, I might get a little hate for this, but Jill is a bit too bitchy for me, in my opinion. Too bitchy. Especially too early in her character. In the remake, nah. Like, her character in RE1 Remastered doesn't feel anything like this, but they are remaking RE1, so maybe she's just gonna be like this from the jump. Who knows, for real. Oh yeah, the cut content absolutely ruined this game. Look, call me a LARPer or whatever, I don't care. But I've never played the original Resident Evil Nemesis. But even I feel like there is so much cut out of this game. Entire sections and bosses that I've never even heard of because they aren't in this game. Like, what the heck, nigga? All I want is to feel like I spent my $60 on a game that isn't 2 hours long. Like, come on. F tier. F tier. It's 5 out of 10, F tier. No, wait, that's kind of mean. I'll put it in D. I'll be fucking nice.
And
Resident Evil 4 Remake. Alright, where do I even start? Resident Evil 4 Remake is perfect. As a remake, it is perfect. It seems like Capcom actually took everyone's criticism and decided to make history again, because Resident Evil 4 Remake is fantastic. Leon, Ashley, Ada, the Los Illuminados, just fantastic. Oh, and how can I forget my GOAT, Louise Sarah. Oh my god, Louise Sarah getting an extended lifespan in this game is one of the greatest things ever. I mean, we get to ride the freaking minecart with him, which honestly feels so empty and hollow compared to the original. Like, bro, this is awesome. He still dies. But it was awesome while it lasted. It was fantastic the way they reworked and rewrote his character. And of course, the stakes feel way higher compared to the original, which is to thanks to the tone difference, which some can say brings the game down, which it can sometimes, but overall, a campy tone kind of just eliminates the real horror of the situation. That also goes for the action and the horror tone, which for the most part, it has a pretty good balance in my opinion, until maybe the island section, which is handled better than the original. But like I said, it's not as campy as the original, but they do keep a campy undertone, especially when Leon just does backflips and shit. I mean, awesome, but I do have some problems with the character dynamics, like Leon and Ada, which their relationship in the remakes feels so forced. Mainly because these characters are always busy on a mission and can never have a full conversation with each other. But then again, it felt forced from the start when they kissed on the train in RE2 remake. So who knows, honestly? I don't know how the formula got a little janky, but it did. Leon is just a golden retriever for real though. Krauser's rewrite isn't really the best in my opinion, since his ties to Wesker are just gone and he just kidnaps Ashley to sell his soul basically, which still works in a way, but it feels half empty now compared to him having full conversations with Ada Wong. I don't think he even knows who that bitch is. But overall, fantastic game. I think this is one of the greatest remakes next to the original remaster of Resident Evil, bro. It's that good. It's that good. High A tier, very high A tier. Well, actually, you know, I'll put it in S. I'm gonna put it in S because it's so close to the original, and I think we can see where the original is going as well. Alright, a lot of what I said about the remake honestly applies here too, but I do think the original is a bit more better. It is very campy, and personally, I am a silly guy, so I find this game hilarious for the most part. I do think Krauser is better in this game, but honestly, so is Ada. Leon and Ada's dynamic honestly feels way more authentic, and she works way better here when it comes to her manipulation. Whenever Leon and Ada are on screen, the tension and flirtiness of it makes it feel like they're just gonna fuck at any given moment, bro. Which honestly works, but it works because the tone is as spontaneous as that. But when it comes to gameplay, I really did enjoy the cozy feeling the game has to offer. It's as cozy as Resident Evil 1 aesthetic wise. And again, the mechanics help create the scares. Oh, and the island section actually fucking sucks. It is not good. It's way too ambitious, and it kind of ruins the mix of action and horror in my opinion. And unlike the remake, it doesn't really slow down for a section after that point. It almost ramps up. It takes us straight to the boss fight, and that's it. It's ridiculous, but you can feel Resident Evil's identity slip just a tad bit through that section. But yeah, again, I'm really, honestly, I could flip a fucking coin on these two. They're just together forever. I don't really care.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Resident Evil 5. Great. Now, most say this game is overhated, and well, yes and no. Before you guys throw fucking rocks at my window here, I do enjoy some of this game. Albert Wesker is horrifying in this game. And I've stated before, I think the mechanics help create the scares. And when it comes to Wesker, it's just off the charts here. And for a game with a lot of action rather than horror, Wesker is so fucking scary. And he will genuinely bolt at you like it's nothing. And I absolutely loved it. I loved every second of it. Every time he was on screen, the urge to root for him was such an odd feeling because, well, he is an insane racist who wants the globe to fail. I mean, come on. But if I can root for the villain like that, I better be able to root for the heroes too, right? Right? Well, look, I like Chris Redfield in this game, and honestly, as a main character, and he's very compelling when it comes to him finding Jill and avenging her. But for newcomer Sheva Alomar, she is so replaceable. I know people may hate to say it, and it sucks. It sucks. I don't want this to be the case. She is a decent character with ties to Kajuju before its real downfall, but she was way too underwritten to be a main character. Now, when it comes to someone like Josh Stone, to be honest, Sheva and him are in the same boat, but Josh is a subordinate rather than a main playable character. Also, her AI sucks, okay? And that might be another contributing factor to why I kind of dislike her, but her AI sucks, okay? This game is a co-op game, but her AI is fucking terrible. It's miserably bad. On top of that, the game also kind of fucking sucks, especially in the third act. Resident Evil completely loses itself here, and it is embarrassing until you get to the Wesker part, and then it locks back in. Before that, it's a mess, and the zombies in this game are too evolved, too advanced for the tank controls, in my opinion, which can sound like a skill issue, but I just genuinely feel like they were trying to they're just doing a little too much with the zombie AI. And it's also really annoying because, in my opinion, that's really just Wesker's thing, to make you have to make do with what you have and throw old shit out the window, you know what I mean? But I truly do think that this game isn't that good. It has its pros, it has its cons, but it's not that good. And on top of that, I feel like a game with a overarching story has to hold up like in some way or another. Resident Evil 5 does not hold up at all. So with that being said, C tier. Yeah, not the best title, not the worst title. It's just in the middle. It's just in the middle for me.
Where your ass was at, dog, with niggas wanted
Resident Evil 6. This should have won Game of the Year back in 2013. This is such a fucking masterpiece, bro. Like, oh my god, I love this game. That's what I would say if I was Israeli. Look, Mischievous Civilians 6 is such a fucking mess. It's so bad. Leon and Jake's campaign were pretty good in my opinion. Okay, they were the best in the game, but the game isn't that good, so take what you can from that, I guess. Leon's campaign gave off that horror vibe of Resident Evil 2 that is much needed for the game, for the rest of the game, but the flaws still remain. It's not perfect, but it's not the best. It's not the best we got. That's for damn sure. Jake Muller is the newcomer and a very interesting character that is a bit too edgy for this game, and he's just chewed up and spit out, in my opinion. And worst part about it is that he is Albert Wesker's son, so expecting more with him is more than justified. He is paired up with Sherry Birkin in this game, and honestly, they have a great dynamic. I mean, both of their parents were mad scientists, crazy ass people, and now these two here are like in a bit of a will they won't they. It's kind of it's cute. It is indeed cute to watch, bruh. It's cute. It's a great dynamic, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, bro. Same goes for Pierce Nivens. He was a great addition to the story of Chris, and he took it upon himself to drag Chris back into commission, and he sacrificed himself for the guy. I mean, come on. For the most part, it's pretty good and very sad, very tragic in my opinion. Something else I liked was understanding where each plotline adds up. It felt a little bit rewarding, I guess. It did make watching the same scene in a different campaign with a new developed context far more interesting. The controls here are fantastic as well. I think Resident Evil 6 has the best controls in the series, but it only feels like it should be utilized, and only is utilized in the Mercenaries game mode, which has the best mercenaries, but mainly in the story, not really. Now for the bad stuff. Everything. And honestly, I'm gonna rapid fire it. The villain, Derek C. Simmons, sucks. It just boils down to him wanting to crack Ada Wong, but she didn't want him, so he made a clone of her. And that clone of her ended up turning on Derek C. Simmons any fucking way, so it doesn't really fucking matter. He's just fucking stupid and looks like Jared Leto. The storyline is very bloated and has a dumb 6-month jump that feels pointless. It feels so pointless because even the characters, it feels like even the characters don't even know that 6 months have passed. Besides Chris, Pierce, and Ada. The game design is fucking terrible, atrocious, especially in Chris's campaign, which they actually went full action with his section, but gave us no fucking ammo. That makes sense. Ada Wong's campaign felt underwhelming. The twist of Ada Wong's clone wasn't good because the twist was revealed in Leon's campaign, which I played first. So there is a 25% chance that you chose that campaign, and then boom, the big twist is given to us in chapter fucking 2. Also, same goes for Ada Wong, because in Ada Wong's campaign, you find this out in chapter 4, that the twist of Derek C. Simmons, and there you learn the twist of Ada Wong having a clone immediately in chapter 1. It's just ridiculous. It's all over the place. It's so it's just a horrendous game, and it is very, very ambitious, but the execution is just fucking bad. Look, not to antagonize people, but people will seriously hold Resident Evil 6 as a good Resident Evil title. It is not. Let's just be honest. There are better games to play. 5 is better than 6. 3 Remake is better than 6. That is a decent Resident Evil. No, okay, I don't want to give it too much credit, but you get the point.
Okay, so I'm editing this and I started getting on a bit of a rant, but I just want to go ahead and just redo the rant here and re-say everything I want to say. If you want to skip this part, timestamp right here. But here's a bit of an issue. So ever since Requiem came out, people are saying, oh, this is just like 6. This is a balance. There's action in this game. If people don't like action in Resident Evil so much, then how come Resident Evil 6 is so bad? Here's the thing. Resident Evil Requiem is a fantastic balance of horror and action. And I said this under a post saying, it was like saying Resident Evil Requiem if it was a good game, saying it's bad, and saying it was the menu of Resident Evil 6 getting loaded up for the campaigns, whatever. I put in the comments, Requiem if it was an Indian action flick with a bloated storyline, bad level design, and almost no horror. And so everyone instantly is on my fucking back about it, like Like, oh, but this was cool though. The battles were epic and yada yada yada. Here's another problem with people. Here's another problem with Resident Evil 6 enjoyers. You can enjoy Resident Evil 6. I'm not saying you can't enjoy it. I'm not saying it's all bad. There's some good in the game. But number one, with anything you want to criticize and you bring this up, it will never ever matter. It will never matter. You know why? Just because something sells good does not mean it is good. Okay? Just because Resident Evil sold 15 million copies on release does not mean it is a good game. I don't understand why people will seriously argue the fact that yes, game developers are able to capitalize on a well-established title in the gaming world and make money off of it. Yeah, sure. Resident Evil 7 initially, it didn't sell well because of Resident Evil 6. I mean, why would they buy Resident Evil 7 not knowing what it is? Because, you know, Resident Evil 6 was just not Resident Evil. But after it got so much critical praise, Resident Evil 7 skyrocketed in sales because it is a good game. Unlike Resident Evil 6 that had a decline because the game wasn't good. People who bought Resident Evil 6, they bought that thinking it was going to be better than what it was. That's why it's on discount right now for $4.99. I've been called a LARPer. I've been called so many names. I've been called retarded. I've been called everything. I gotta scroll. I gotta go through all of my replies because I was getting straight. People were saying I described Requiem better, saying Requiem has no horror. It's bloated and like an Indian action film. Bitch, where? Okay, there was a dude named... Oh, he changed his username. He changed his username. Oh my God, he changed his username. Oh my God, he changed his username. So this is funny. This is hilarious to me. Okay, under that same comment thread, there was a person that went under the username. I have a screenshot of it too. They went under the username Adolf Lolly Nigga. They went under that username, Adolf Lolly Nigga, and they changed their username to Nanashi Mihara. I don't know who that is. I don't care who Nanashi is, but they used to be Adolf Lolly Nigga. And they're telling me Resident Evil 6 is a good game. Like, I gotta see this person's profile now. They rebranded themselves. Oh, they are a failed meme page. Of course, because of course they are. But it's not Resident Evil. It's Mischievous Civilian 6, and I don't want to hear about it. Peace. But yeah, this isn't a good game. I gave it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, this game fucking sucks. Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is a fan-fucking-tastic game. Okay, fantastic. I love this game. It is such a great game that snatches back its horror label in the most horrific way possible. From start to finish, I was terrified by this game. I mean, what do you mean? What you mean I'm being forced to eat fucking chitlins in a fucking swamp in Louisiana? That's literal nightmare fuel, bro. But in all seriousness, this game perfectly captures what a Resident Evil title should be. A damn near perfect villain, a mysterious aura and odor, a great plot twist, an amazing hook, multiple endings, DLC that expands the story. Oh my God, I'm about to die, boy. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Although I love this game, the boat section is a tiny bit forgettable. Although it shows Evelyn and her relationship with Mia and how Mia got there in the first place, but it's still not the best section with the worst machine gun in the game probably. And honestly, Ethan literally shouldn't be there. I don't know what mental gymnastics he took to think that Mia said to come get her in Louisiana, but nigga, you're tripping. But yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, come on.
Were you listening? I'm gonna get you.
First off, Mother Miranda. Mother Miranda is one of the coolest characters that the franchise has produced, and also by extension, so is Evelyn. Her lore with the mold, Oswald E. Spencer, Umbrella, all together, it is so damn intriguing. It's so cool. It's just so interesting. I love that plot line so much. Now, Ethan is back, and well, the stakes are higher with the main area that slowly expands upon itself as the game continues, taking us to castles, spooky ass, scary ass mansions. I love it. It's really cool, very interesting, and it also swings back into the action route, which is a double-edged sword in my opinion. Also, in titles like Resident Evil 7, I do think there's action in that game, but it's mostly carried with a horror tone. Like, there's action, but like with Jack Baker, I'd say his final battle was almost like an action flick. but it's scary because it's Jack Baker. He has already shown himself to be a fucking menace. Okay, I mean, it's hard not to, you know. It's here too, but it's not the best, especially when you consider that Heisenberg. The only time you really fight Heisenberg is when it's only in the final boss. You talk to him. That's it, really. But yeah, for the most part, sorry. And also, Ethan isn't an action character like Chris or Leon. I think it's a bit early to throw Ethan in such positions like this. But he had his training off camera, so I digress, I guess. You can say the same about Leon, but with Leon, he had a bit of a little action undertone. I mean, he's a cop. Ethan is a regular dude. And on top of that, the game doesn't really work for me. It's really characterized like Chris being a dumbass for no reason and not telling Ethan about Mother Miranda and just killing Mia right in front of him. Lady Demetrius is fucking boring. So boring. Like, you would think that the game almost surrounds her with how long you're in her section for. But honestly, this game could probably just work without her, in my opinion. Her and her daughters are hot as fuck, but boring as hell. Wait, I kind of take that back. The daughters have interesting lore with like the implications that they're bugs, but Lady D is so boring. She's so boring, and she's the worst stalker enemy in the franchise. Also, another thing, Chris's section felt kind of forced, and I didn't really like it. It was just Call of Duty Zombies, and also I spent all game just hating on him as a character at this point, so now I gotta play as the dude that I don't like right now. Whatever. And also, it's kind of buggy, but overall, great game. Not perfect and not better than Biohazard. And Ethan fucking dies, which absolutely blows. Resident Evil 9 Requiem. This is probably the ones you've been waiting for. Resident Evil 9 Requiem is damn near a masterpiece. I can't tell if it's a 10 out of 10, an 8.5 out of 10. Like, it's just so good. It's so good. I think it works on many levels. Grace Ashcroft's character is a great protagonist with zero experience in fighting zombies and shit, which creates such a terrifying, uncharted territory reminiscent of some of Resident Evil 1 and 2. It's so well done. And the best part about it is that you can go back to the same uncharted territory and absolutely butcher every single zombie you were struggling with before. I'm so glad to say it, but Requiem perfectly blends action and horror together. On top of that, the premise is great. Grace's mother is killed. She gets kidnapped, finds out that Emily and Marie, Emily's sister, are clones of Grace. I mean, the story just gradually levels up, and it's not just for Grace, it's for Leon too, since he goes back to Raccoon City and has to take on the tyrant again, while also battling his PTSD and riding up buildings. But you get it. It's so well made. I just love how the game uses nostalgia to boost the character's trauma. It's honestly perfectly done. It's perfectly done. We're seeing a side of Leon that we have never seen before. Xeno, in my opinion, it's kind of weird how they brought back Wesker, but it kind of ties back into the plot of clones and imitations and shit. Xeno, the imitation of Wesker is fascinating enough, and it ties into the cloning plot, while Gideon is just a menacing villain, and honestly a great one. He's the type of villain that lurks with the intentions to just scare you rather than harm you, or I guess even give you information until the end, but you can feel the threat grow with the plot, which is always a good villain in my opinion. Now the only thing that brings the game down for me personally is the Raccoon City detonator section, mainly because it was so long and drawn out on the first playthrough. And I want to say on the first playthrough because once you get the hang of it, if you play it again, then like you get it, okay? But on the first playthrough, it's really just like you can make this section 15 minutes or you can genuinely make it 2 hours, and I made it 2 hours in my opinion because it just felt like the direction I couldn't tell. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, okay? And it got so boring, so mundane, so quickly in my opinion. It just wasn't for me all the way. On top of that, it felt like they just needed a justified reason to throw, like they just need to throw a task at you before you get to Raccoon City Center, like just, you know, random bullshit go, I guess. But like, you get it. I mean, it's just how it is, really. And also, the city doesn't really feel connected to Resident Evil 3. I wish they had a section where you can maybe get to Resident Evil 3 or something, or you know what I mean. Because Resident Evil 3 is not a good game, and I wish they could have maybe embellished on it, maybe bring back some nostalgia effect shit with Resident Evil 3, and be like, oh, I remember this section. I remember this section. Yeah, I want to go play Resident Evil 3 now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really don't like that game. The game needs as many redeeming factors as possible. Without, I guess, making a DLC. But whatever, bro. But overall, fantastic game, and I'm very hyped for the DLC, and I just love it. Now, boom, A tier. That's it. That's the tier list. I don't think I'm gonna change anything for a little while. So yeah, once I do the side games, I'm gonna make a side game movie that incorporates the mainline games, like what I did last time. And yeah, remember to like, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.
TX, shut she cuffing the BX, ice in the flame in the